Hey folks, Jimmy with MgM. Got a quick video for you this week as we finally rolled up for Caravan Heist, a scenario that I've wanted to play in Necromunda for a long time, but I tend to let the dice decide what the scenarios are. We've got Slave Ogren and House Delac coming up your way in a Week 4 matchup that is going to be crucial for both gangs to stay viable in the campaign. I got to looking around my hobby space, and unfortunately I don't have a model that would represent a caravan of any type, so I quickly looked at the GW website at the Ridge Hauler and was a bit taken back by the price of it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure the model is absolutely gorgeous, but with build time and everything else, it's going to take me 2 to 3 weeks to get this thing on the table, and I want to do another Necromunda battle report. I do have a 3D printer, so I thought why not just try to print something. I did back a Kickstarter from Saucerman Studios last year for their Flatline City terrain, and it came with this vehicle that is kind of like a garbage truck slash hauler, and I thought why not give this a print. Now, if you're new to 3D printing, this Bamboo Lab A1 is an absolute beast of a printer. It is very new user friendly. And just walking through the steps here, you can see me load it up onto the slicer. It's going to take roughly 4.5 hours or so to print. And then you just hit send to the printer and everything prints. I'm not affiliated with Bamboo Lab. I'm also not affiliated with Saucerman Studios. So this is just coming from pure experience. But this printer is absolutely fantastic. The file printed just as it should. It came out with really good quality from this printer. You do have to print the wheels separately. The next step is to paint this up, and I am new to an airbrush. I recently got an airbrush. I'm still figuring out how to use it. I go through and give this a black undercoat just using the Vallejo airbrush primer, which I find is really good. I totally forgot that I wanted to give this model some 3D elements as well, some additional 3D elements. I wanted to add some kind of gun up top, so I added a bolter or a heavy bolter, something like that from a Ravenwing kit, and then I added a few other 3D elements as well. I did want the vehicle to be a green color, so I did have some of the Army Painter air paints. I think this is Goblin Green, if I'm not mistaken. And I go through and just give this a base coat of that green. Once done, I go in with some bleach bone just to give it some highlights around the edges. Again, I'm still getting used to working with an airbrush, and I'm not totally sure how the highlights and things work, so I'm just playing around. I wanted these windows to be a lighter color as well, so I do go in with that bleach bone and kind of fill in some of these spaces. With that done in practically no time, we hit the table with a little bit of brushwork. I did glue the wheels on at this point, and I'm just going through with a little bit of silver to get some pipes and some of the other things that would be some kind of metal. I then give the entire thing a light dry brush of the silver just because it represents some metal showing through, chips, weathering, that type of thing. I then want to add some hazard stripes, and I use these AK Interactive acrylic pens, and I will put a link down in the description. I'm not affiliated with them either. They did send me this product to review, and I have a review video which I'll try to remember to link up for you to watch. These things are absolutely fantastic. If you're like me and you really lack a lot of brush control, I'm going to do some hazard stripes and just show you how easy it is to use these pens. We'll also do some graffiti with them in just a moment. So most of these acrylic markers right now are in a World War II style or theme. They do have some colors like red, yellow, white that it would be very handy for graffiti. I do hope that they expand this line in the future. Now what you're seeing is going down like acrylic paint. It is acrylic paint that is just flowing off a marker tip. So this would be good for graffiti. It would also be good for edge highlighting. The colors go over each other very well. It's very fast to dry, and it allows you to accomplish things like this very quickly. I'll show you the finished product on the back in just a minute, but I sat around for a while. This is probably what took the longest, is me sitting around trying to think what kind of graffiti I wanted. So I said, hey, look, we'll put an anarchy symbol right here, and then we'll flip sides, and we'll do a little graffiti on the other side, and we'll just kind of play around with these markers. The next piece is to add some weathering, so I just grab a piece of foam, go through with some black, I mixed it in with that silver, and I'll just kind of weather this thing up with a bunch of bumps and things like that. I then go through and just dry brush on a little bit of brown, especially on the bottom, just to give it some dirt and things like that, and at this point we're getting close to being done. The last piece I do, I just come back in with that yellow marker and just kind of get some of the lights, making those yellow. And with that, this project is pretty much complete. So hey, I get that it's not as good as the official Games Workshop kit that would have taken me forever to put together. But quite frankly, since I don't play Ash Waste yet, I would probably only use this piece for this scenario, and then it would sit on the shelf. This vehicle costs $2.62 to print, and it will do just fine for our upcoming scenario. Well hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different. If you'd like to see any more 3D printed videos for things like this, just let me know down in the comments. Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. Big thank you for watching our content and supporting the channel. It's by no means necessary. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care.